Hey everybody, today we're talking about what you're actually buying when you pay real money for a ship in Star Citizen.
Welcome to the nerds.
For those of you who don't know who I am, which is probably most of you, I'm the head nerd at Nerd Doing Stuff, and I'm addicted to StarCrack. I also happen to stream on Twitch. Come check it out at twitch.tv/nerddoingstuff. Hang out, and we'll have a good time. Now, I've been a Star Citizen backer for quite a long time, and over the years, I've managed to amass a fair amount of expensive digital pixels. This picture, you guys can see, is my personal fleet that I've purchased over the years. And I've got stuff that runs the gamut here, right? So I've got the big expensive stuff like a Polaris and a Carrack. Some of the less expensive but still pretty big stuff. That's the Merchantman and a Hercules, all the way down to some really small stuff. That's an M50, Origin M50, and a P72, right? So I've bought stuff along the entire continuum of expensive to cheap. And I've just bought it over the years when I want to. When I found a ship I wanted, I just bought it. But now I've been thinking recently about the economics of Star Citizen purchasing and buying ships with real money, especially with a bunch of new ships coming out and the Star Citizen gameplay loops now sort of being in the game. And I wanted to figure out a way to evaluate the efficiency and how I was spending my money so that I could spend it wisely in the future. And while doing this, I actually came across one of the better ways to think about buying Star Citizen ships. When you pay real money at the Star Citizen Pledge Store, you're not buying digital pixels, really. What you're buying is a head start. Now, the thing to keep in mind with this concept is that in the persistent universe, if it ever comes, CIG really intends that any ship that they have made available for you to buy with real money to be available for you to buy with in-game currency, provided you can get enough in-game currency to buy it, because things like the Idris and the Javelin are going to be probably expensive and time-consuming. It might even require game actions outside of just buying it from a store, right? But the idea is any ship that you buy from this giant list of ships is going to be available for you to get later with just in-game currency. So this Hornet, for example, I think costs $125 if I'm remembering correctly. Let's take a look. Yeah, this Hornet would cost you $125 USD now. But it'll be available in the PU. You can currently get it in the alpha version of the PU that we have for seven-ish, I don't know, about 1.5 million UEC, right? Is what this thing costs. So it's not like you're never going to have the opportunity to buy it again. What you're doing when you're buying this for $125 is you're ensuring is when that ship becomes available in the PU, the full-blown PU, which will be right at start because it's already available, you're ensuring that you will have it and not have to grind up to get to it. What this does is this allows a collector like me, or the rest of you guys out there that are insane with this game, to enjoy the ship without having to make that UEC grind. So what did I actually buy? I bought the privilege to not spend time grinding to get the ships that I want to play with. So the money I've spent literally translates into buying a head start in game time. But being a nerd, I kind of wanted to figure out how efficient my money really has been and where it might be more efficient to spend it later if I could figure a way to how to do that. So I did what any good engineer does, and I created a spreadsheet to calculate how efficient my money has been. So I'm super washed out now, but this is the spreadsheet. And it's mostly current as I could make it for Alpha 3.12, with in-game UEC prices and out-of-game costs in United States dollars in USD. But there might be some differences here, and as the game goes along, they'll adjust prices and everything else, and probably the actual purchasing price with real money will also change. So take these numbers with a grain of salt. But this is a spreadsheet I came up with. What this spreadsheet does is this spreadsheet takes the UEC cost of a ship in game and estimates the amount of time you'd have to play the game in order to earn that ship with in-game activities. The only thing you need to provide the spreadsheet with is an estimated earn rate, or like an earn rate on UEC. In this case, UEC per hour. So in my case, my currently preferred UEC earning method is bounty hunting missions, NPC bounty hunting missions. I can run them very efficiently in a Vanguard, for instance. And doing HRTs, VHRTs, and group missions, I'm currently doing about 210,000 UEC per hour. So that's the number I put in here to kind of get some numbers to discuss with people, but your earning potential may vary. If you're doing bounty hunting missions with an Avenger, for instance, you might struggle with VHRT missions, so your upper level earn rates might be less. So if we go look down here at the Hornet F7C again, we notice that it's standalone ship price, which is really what we're talking about. The $125 number I mentioned earlier is the pledge ship price. So it's standalone ship price of $110, right? And just short of 1.5 million. So in game, if you're earning 210,000 UEC per hour, you will be able to earn the Hornet F7C in just a little bit over 7 hours, give or take. 7 hours in one mission, probably at that rate. So that gives you kind of a top line level. How much time are you buying with your money? In this case, $110 saves you 7 hours of game time. If that's worth it to you or not, that's probably a personal decision, but this is just kind of the beginning, because we're going to bring it to another level of nerddom. And we're going to try and measure the amount of time saved per dollar spent. So what this does is it lets us estimate the amount of time in minutes, is how it kind of worked out. The amount of time in minutes that each dollar we spend in the pledge store saves us in game time in the future. We go back to this Hornet F7C here. What it does is it takes, it's going to take us 7 hours and 6 minutes and 29 seconds in order to, make the money for the ship. Or we could spend $110. So each dollar that we spent saves us 3 minutes and 53 seconds. Just under 4 minutes of our lives per dollar we spent on this ship is saved. So what does that let us do? That lets us actually evaluate all of the ships in terms of how much of our lives we're saving by spending money now. And that lets us go compare the Hornet to like a Vanguard. And that's showing we're saving 2 minutes per dollar, or, almost just under 10 hours of time of our lives are saved by buying a Harbinger. So just under 2 minutes per dollar, right? And so we can say that, buying a Hornet monetarily is more efficient than buying a Harbinger or a Vanguard Harbinger. Whether that translates to real world effect or not is not built into this tool. So this is the second sheet here that we've got, and it lets me sort and kind of parse data and look for trends. And this shows, right now we're sorted from low cost to high cost pledge store. This USD cost is the pledge store price for each ship. The PTV buggy is $15 in the pledge store. You are saving yourself 6 seconds of actual game time by buying it, because it's only 5,000 UEC, right? So it's saving you 6 seconds of game time to buy the PTV buggy. Do not buy the PTV buggy in the store. Just that's a heads up right now. But there's some really interesting things that we get from this table. So let's look at all the sub $100. So everything that's cheaper than a Cutlass Black. Cutlass Black provides you a lot of utility, right? But anything cheaper than that is really just a starter ship or a premium starter ship. And in this category, there's only 2 ships that break the $4 per dollar mark. That is the Avenger Titan and the Avenger Stalker. Technically, also the Avenger Titan Special Edition one. What is this one? The Titan Renegade also breaks it, but that's just an Avenger Titan that's more expensive. So, you know, what can you do there? It's also more expensive money in basically the same rate. Notice 4 minutes and 5 seconds was 4 minutes and 6. So CIG pegged it with their pricing there. But you look at this, and the Avenger variants are the only one that breaks 4 minutes. Everything else is lower than that in 2 and 3 minutes. The only other ones that get close are the 315p here and the 325A here, and they are just under 4 minutes. And I think this is interesting because kind of the YouTube consensus for starter ships is that the Avenger starter ships, pick your flavor, the Titan or the Stalker, are really the best. They're the preeminent starter ships available. And it's kind of interesting, and certainly backs up that at least in the lower price category, CIG kind of has created this situation where there is one ship that provides more capabilities, but is also more money efficient to buy. So there's some interesting, I think, discussion to be had there on kind of the placement of the other ships in the market and things like that. On the other end of the spectrum, let's swap this thing over to USD descending. The expensive stuff is really money efficient, believe it or not. Some of this shouldn't be a surprise because the most expensive ship is the 890 Jump at 32 million and change UEC, and it costs $950. But look at its actual, time saved. Its dollar time efficiency is nearly 10 minutes. The most efficient ship of the ones that I have data for is actually the Carrack, which I love. And that ship is nearly 13 minutes, sorry, per dollar spent on the Carrack is saved in terms of playtime, because you're saving yourself 127 hours of playtime to grind to a Carrack if you're earning 210,000 UEC per hour, right? So, the only other ship that gets up above the double digits is the Reclaimer. It's at 1048, nearly 11 minutes per dollar spent, and this one's only a $400 ship. And what you're going to find here is there is a divergence in the spreadsheet and in the way CIG prices their ships for real dollars versus UEC cost, where they know they can't price the 890 Jump at 4 minutes, because for it to be priced at 4 minutes, it would have to be a $2,000 ship, right? This ship would literally have to be $2,000, which is under $1,000, which you really can't justify in this current market. It's a very interesting pricing discussion with CIG for this, but some very cool stuff in this spreadsheet is what it shows us. So what does this mean? Are the really efficient stuff like the Carrack and the 890 Jump and the Reclaimer and the Starfarer, actually the Gemini is efficient. The Starfarer itself is more efficient money-wise than the Gemini is. Are those really good? Are the really inefficient stuff? Let's talk about the Prowler here. That Prowler only makes 1 minute and 37 seconds per dollar spent, right? That's really bad. Is the Prowler bad? Well, not really, and it's complicated. I have a friend who I play with very regularly who swears by the Prowler as a bounty hunting ship because of its weapon loadout and everything else. You're just paying in dollars the alien tax, right? So in the same vein, this is good even though its number is really low. Whereas the blade down here, also you're paying an alien tax here and an alien tax here, so it's a 330. No one that I know or see online or look at the YouTube stuff defends the blade as a good choice for combat. Like there's better options in the anvil, in the arrow, in almost all of the small light fighters are a better option than the Asperia blade. Even though it's relatively efficient when compared to even the Vanguard Sentinel here at 2 minutes and 5 seconds, where this is actually one of the preferred PvP Warden variants, but it's not very money efficient. So, what does this tool tell you? It doesn't really tell you what ships are good and bad. It gives you a good way to estimate how well your money is translating into virtual money, how well your real world money is translating into virtual money, so that you can save yourself the maximum amount of time for the experience you're looking for. If you love the Prowler, buy the Prowler. That's the experience you're looking for. Get it, you'll have a better time. But if you're stuck between, really, I'm not sure if I want a Prowler or if I want a 600i Touring, and you look at them, they're basically the same, but the 600i Touring will cost you an extra 36 hours of game time. Buy the 600i Touring. Like, you know, get a little bit more bang for your buck, money-wise. So, what do you guys think? Did I do a good job with my fleet here? I'm going to tell you, I'm looking at ways to update this fleet, get rid of some of the small stuff, especially looking at this spreadsheet. I'm looking at ways to get rid of some of the small ships and upgrade some of these other ones to bigger, cooler variants of ships, because those seem to be more money efficient, and I have a lot of the playstyles I want already without needing them there. So that's certainly how I'm taking this information. Let me know how you're taking it. Did I miss something? Did I completely overlook some metric that would be really good in this discussion? Let me know in the comment section down below. What else do we want to overthink about Star Citizen? We can bring up spreadsheets and do some money analysis or efficiency analysis or whatever on whatever you guys want. Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, you know the YouTube stuff. We just want to make sure that you can catch all the nerdtastic content your heart desires that we put out on this channel. So anyway, guys, I'm Nerd, and I'll see you guys in the verse.